the first year of college, I was, not enjoying college at all because I didn't feel at any moment I was getting better. I was just like, I was drinking at this moment. Like, I'm out with friends and like, I'm like just completely detached the whole time. Like I'm not there and I'm not enjoying life, but I want to. And, I was reading up, different kind of religions at the time in like, Eastern religion, and Buddhism specifically, matched kind of what I was feeling and like, okay, I could do this. The 4 tenets, right? Like we were talking.
You have to remind me, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like the like there is suffering and there is a cause for suffering, and you can get out of suffering.
Right.
And these are the ways to get out of suffering. Reasons, or the ways in getting out of suffering, mattered to me a lot at that moment. So I was like, okay, let me just try this shit out. Asked my parents to go to find a temple in Japan, and in a week, my mom set up a thing where I had a flight to go to Japan for a couple of months.
I have to ask how they were so, like, why were they so, it seems like a very big thing to ask and something that's not maybe normal. I don't know. Maybe it is normal in Japanese culture.
I don't know what it is. My parents are very generous people.
Okay.
And they know that I was going through something.
Yeah.
And they, they're that kind of, it's that kind of love where it's like, whatever you're going through, I'll support it and I'll take you there.
Yeah.
And I hope you get something out of it. And like, that's their stance. And
so you were in college at this moment, right? So you took a break?
First year. Yeah. It's between my first and second year. So I went to Japan, in the summer in between. Yeah. And I go to the temple, not knowing what's going to happen because it's called Zazen, in a place called Fukui Prefecture, in Hokyoji, which is like a completely rural temple. It's in the mountains. Like, it's a very small temple in the very, very rural prefecture. It's just kind of secluded area. It's perfect. I get there and my Japanese is broken at the time. Like I can only like understand Japanese. I can't speak it very well. But I'm not there to like speak Japanese. I'm there to like absorb whatever this experience is.
But isn't the experience in Japanese?
It is. But
okay.
But the main so I had like a Buddhist monk who was the main guy I talked to a lot. Like, about my thoughts and like how should I meditate and all these things. And he spoke English.
Oh.
So I didn't have to really, the harder words of Japanese I didn't have to worry about. And I get there and first, like, I would say a couple weeks, I felt nothing. Like I'm waking up at 4 a.m., meditating for 2 hours, doing breakfast, cleaning the temple, meditate for another 2 hours, eat, meditate again, and then go to sleep.
Damn.
It's like 6 hours of meditation.
Yeah.
And like a lot of like chores effective. And it's a 4 a.m. to 9 p.m. kind of thing gig for a couple months. And it was one day, it's a couple weeks in, and there's another fellow, Zazen. He was there as punishment from his parents because he's gambling money, his parents' money.
Nice.
He's like, fucking, you go to this temple and you fucking learn. And he's Japanese, pure Japanese, and my broken Japanese seemed as if I was an idiot. Like I was like a
little slow.
I was a little slow. And so he was talking shit right in front of me. I can understand everything. I just can't speak it very well.
Right.
And I was washing rice and he's just shitting on how I was washing rice right in front of me. Like he's right next to me talking to like a monk. Like fucking this guy can't do anything. I can't rely on him. He can't wash rice.
It's fucking American.
And like, and I'm just boiling, dude. I'm just like, I can understand everything, but like, I'm not here to be angry. I'm here to experience whatever this life is. And like, I don't want to deal with human shit. This is very human shit. And I'm like boiling over. And then it gets to a point where I lift up the whatever bowl I was working with, like the cement bowl. I just slam it really hard on the table. Makes a very loud noise, very indicative that I can understand what you're saying. And I don't appreciate it. I have an overwhelming sense of humility, like wash over me, embarrassment. Oh shit, this is human. Like I'm like the depersonalization, and then pride was a thing that got me back. I'm like, holy shit, like humanity is what's bringing me back in, but I don't like it.
There's a negative emotion that brought you back.
It's negative, and I don't like it. But then I was like, okay, if I can dial in onto whatever humanity I feel, I can get that humanity back. And it washed over me like, oh shit, like the humility of it. It was like instant. It was like anger and then embarrassment, humility, and I got to get fucking over this. But I can feel again. I know what it is to be human. It's whatever connection you have to reality, it's almost pride. Pride is what connects you. And then I'm like, okay, what are the good forms of pride? What are the bad forms of pride that I can kind of appreciate? And that comes way after, but like, those are the feelings I have at the moment, right? Like, it's just an intense feeling of like a bunch of shit. And then after that, I'm like really dialed into that feeling. Like when I'm meditating, I'm like thinking about reality and my connection to reality and like how amazing and beautiful life is, the absurdity of it, but also like I'm a human in it, experiencing it. It's not this detached thing anymore. It's like both. It's like I'm in it and I'm also the world. Yeah. To feel the absurdity of it. And one thing that helped also was at the monk, because when you think of like Eastern philosophy and whatnot, you think of like almost tuning out, almost like your ego death.
Detaching from the world.
Detaching, right? I'm already detached.
Yeah.
So where the fuck am I going to go? I'm already here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the way he framed it was, dude, meditation is not just like letting go. It's about extreme focus. I'm like, I never thought about it as focus. Like it's not, I thought it's a thing where you're like relaxed, right? Like extreme relaxation.
Right.
But he's like, no, dude, it's hard, intense dialing into something. And like, and then I thought, all right, let me dial into the absurdity, the feeling of absurdity. And once you dial into that, you can start controlling. The interesting thing about like depersonalization and derealization for me was if you're in it, it's scary. But if you focus in on it, you'll find that you'll be able to control it more. So people who are suffering from this, and it's very real, it's scary because like you're detached and you're like you losing yourself. But if you want to get out of it and try to control it, then that means focus in on it. Like really focus in on the, that the mind crystal onto like
that's focusing crystal.
Just feel what that means. Don't be scared of it. Just dial into what the depersonalization and derealization. That's meditation for me.
So meditation allows you to face your fears. It's cliche, but everyone's initial reaction is to run away from your fear, right? And the cliche like Yoda face your fear thing, but meditation actually allows you to do that as focusing in on. When you say the absurdity, I know you were talking about the absurdity you felt about life, but I also feel like when you face your fears, they're also really absurd when you actually look at them. Yeah. And
derealization and whatever that was is a real fear of mine. Every time I experience it, I'm like just sweating, like I'm losing my mind. I'm losing control of this, whatever this is to reality. But then like I have to really dial in on it. I'm like, okay, no, this is just kind of like a flurry of my mind. And I can appreciate where I'm at in this.
Yeah.
And it kind of like the very focus of it becomes the remedy for it, right? Like it's like it becomes a cure to approach the fear and dialing into it. And that was huge for me. And that changed my life on how to deal with one summer.
One summer at a temple.
One summer at a temple. It's all. Its environment is huge. I think I realize it. Like I was blessed with my parents. Like if you can't get out of a certain environment, really focus in on yourself, you are not allotted the space, the environment to focus and be better. Like you can't just be living life sometimes and not have a respite from it to focus on what makes you.
Yeah.
Right. Like sometimes you need a break. So appreciate the breaks. And if you're lucky to get one, really dial in onto what makes you.
I agree.
And then, don't waste time.
Yeah, our lives are usually one mission to the next, right? One like thing we're trying to get done, one toiling to the next. And if you get a break from that, you should really take advantage of it.
Yeah. And don't take a break like a vacation is like, at the beach or whatever. Like go into the absurdity of it.
Yeah.
Like feel what it is to like examine life in it, right? It's not a break from. You're never taking a break from life.
No.
So when you're
never going to take a break from yourself either.
Right.
You're always there.
But you can take breaks from routine.
True.
If you could take a break from routine, you could think about your routine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think about what makes you you. Yeah. So that's. And after that, I felt like I resolved philosophy in my own way. Like I solved it in my own mind. I don't have that fear anymore. But then what am I doing philosophy at this point? Like, what are the unanswered questions that I have in my mind? And I think Wittgenstein just kind of was the putt in, putt, the final putt. And it was like, okay, life is a troll. Like this whole thing is a troll. Like whatever I'm feeling about life, it's just part of it. I don't have to feel attached to a value, to the silly parts of life. I could just focus on the experience of it, because that's all I have. That's the only truth. Just dial into the experience of it.